The rain poured heavily, and the wind howled as Jack Morgan walked along the deserted riverside in his small UK town. He had just lost his job and felt like a failure. His thoughts were dark, until he heard desperate barking. He turned towards the river and saw a struggling dog caught in the raging current. Its eyes were wide with fear, and its legs flailed as it fought against the rushing water. Without thinking, Jack tossed off his coat and jumped in. The icy water hit him like 1,000 knives, but he pushed forward, reaching the dog just before it got pulled under. With all his strength, he grabbed the dog and swam back to shore. Gasping for air, he collapsed on the wet grass, the shivering dog curled up beside him. It was a black Labrador with striking golden eyes. Its fur was soaked, but it wagged its tail weakly, licking Jack's hand. "You're safe now, buddy," Jack whispered. Seeing no collar, he decided to take the dog home for the night. Jack dried the dog, fed it some leftover chicken, and watched as it curled up at his feet. He hadn't felt warmth like this in a long time. "You need a name," Jack muttered, staring into its intelligent eyes. "How about Shadow?" The dog wagged its tail, as if approving. That night, for the first time in months, Jack didn't feel alone. The next morning, Jack woke to a strange sound, Shadow growling. The dog stood at the door, hackles raised. Then, in a flash, Shadow lunged, knocking Jack to the floor just as a loud bang echoed through the house. Glass shattered. A bullet whizzed past where Jack had been standing. Someone had fired a gun through his window. Heart pounding, Jack crawled to safety and called the police. Shadow remained alert, standing guard. When the police arrived, they found footprints leading away into the woods. The officer looked grim. "You're lucky, Mr. Morgan," the officer said. "There have been burglaries in the area, but they never left witnesses before." Jack's blood ran cold. If Shadow hadn't pushed him down, he would have been dead. As the police searched the area, they found something shocking. Near the riverbank, not far from where Jack had rescued Shadow, they found an abandoned campsite with weapons and stolen goods. The criminals had been hiding there all along. Jack realized something. Shadow hadn't been drowning that night. He had been running from them. The dog had been trying to escape and found the perfect person to help, someone who needed saving just as much as he did. Jack looked down at Shadow, his heart swelling with gratitude. "You saved my life," he whispered, kneeling beside the dog. "I think we were meant to find each other." Shadow licked his face, his golden eyes shining. Jack knew his life had changed forever. He may have lost his job, but he had gained something far greater, a loyal friend who had given him a second chance at life, and from that day on, neither of them was ever alone again.